Hi, my name is Helen Todd, and we're here today for the Lenovo AI Solutions for Small Business Social Media Marketing Success. And I couldn't be more excited to be with you here today. We're going to learn how to work smarter, not harder, starting with a quick AI overview, and then go into AI and social media. And you'll leave with some tools and tricks for AI text, images, and video. So, a little bit more about who I am. I established one of the first ever social media agencies, Sociality Squared, way back in 2010. I'm also a featured speaker and advisor for South by Southwest and co founded and co host the largest AI meetup in the entire state of Ohio, where I'm also on the mayor's AI task force. And I also have the accolade of being the first resident in Cincinnati to have a hyper realistic clone of myself. All of this is to say that you're in really good hands today when it comes to AI and social media marketing help for your small business. And we're all here today because AI is not a fad, like the computer wasn't a fad, like the internet wasn't a fad, like social media marketing or social media wasn't a fad. And it's already been embedded into so much of our lives, from our traffic stoplights to our internet searches, our phone cameras, map apps, and voice assistants. Everything changed though in 2022 with the Gen AI moment. And this happened when ChatGPT, or OpenAI's ChatGPT, blew up and got the fastest user adoption in all of history, gaining over 100 million users in just 2 months for ChatGPT. And as Mary Merker has said, she's famous for writing internet trend reports, that the advance of AI should drive the fastest and biggest transformations, disruptions, and platform shifts in technology ever seen. And we're all feeling this, in our day to day in the news. And it's not a day goes by where we don't hear about new AI updates. And similarly to how the iPhone turned everyone into photographers, AI is democratizing creativity and giving us all superpowers, which is really exciting for small businesses like yourselves. So, what does this mean for your small business? How can you harness the power of AI for your social media marketing success? What we really want to think about is looking at AI as a co creation partner for brainstorming, editing, suggesting. You can tap into any expertise. Today, we're going to hone in on social media marketing, and it can help streamline your workflows and save time. And when it comes to social media, the same problems exist before Gen AI as exist today of what to post. How do I fill an entire content calendar to keep an ongoing conversation with my community? What platform should I be on? What format should I be publishing? How frequently should I do it? It feels like a content feast of see more, feed me, but it doesn't have to be that way. You can feel in control of of your company and how you present it online. And AI can help bring your story alive on social media to support your small business goals. So, when it comes to social media, what you basically need is a social media strategy. You need content creation, and that's text, images, photography, and moving images and video, publishing, community management, and analytics. And for today, we're going to focus on the lime yellow components because Gen AI has really to date impacted those the most when it comes to publishing, community management, and that includes your customer service response and analytics. There's already a ton of great platforms out there that handle this. We're a Sprout Social agency partner and resell Sprout seats. And there's not a soups to nuts from beginning to end AI solution yet. So we're going to focus on where you're going to get the biggest bang for your buck with the current Gen AI tools for your strategy and your content creation. So with that, let's jump in. Today's tech stack, AI has a bunch of different tools that can be overwhelming. So these are all suggestions. And at the end of the day, you want to test them for free, try your free trials, and just get a feel for which one fits best for you and your preferences and resources, whether that's budget or time or what you're looking for. So today's tech stack includes Claude, Opus Clip, HeyGen, Adobe Firefly, and Canva. But before we jump in, as I mentioned, AI, there's not a soup to nuts AI solution that's going to help with every aspect and be the answer for all of your social media problems. And in general, there's not one silver bullet answer, whether AI or anything else. To help with social media problems, AI can make mistakes. The terminology is called it hallucinates, which makes up things. So you always want to have a human in the loop and double check it. It's not always consistent, so you must give it feedback. And if you think of it more as like training an intern that will make mistakes and it requires feedback and training, that's a good way to think about AI. It's not always consistent, so you must give it feedback. You want to double check the terms of service for commercial use. For example, OpenAI only allows commercial use on images on their paid plan and not their free plan. So there's a lot of eggshells to walk on that front, but you can literally just ask your questions within the chatbots themselves of, does your terms of service allow this? And not all Gen AI tools are commercially safe, so you always want to be mindful of how you're using them and what you're using them for. If they're more upstream brainstorming or anything ready for publishing on your company, you want it to be more commercially safe. And you definitely don't want to put personal identification and proprietary information into these chatbots, especially the free ones. On most of the platforms, when you pay, you're not training the bots. But for security measure, I wouldn't put anything that important into the chatbots. Okay, so back to the fun side of the Gen AI and AI creation for your small business marketing. So again, we want to look at it as a brainstorming, editing, and suggesting co-creation partner. We want to tap into any expertise. Today, we're going to be looking at social media marketing and help streamline workflows and save time. So we're going to start off with a social media strategy in text. You can really use any LLM for this purpose, and that's large language model. These are the AI chatbots that you're going to be interacting with to help with your content creation. For today's purpose, we're going to go with Claude. It was the most ethically trained, but they're all not perfect on that front by any means. And they all have different strengths. So really, it's whatever your preference is. And also with Claude, they have a nice projects tool, which we're going to go into in more detail in today's presentation. But whichever one that you want to move forward with, they all have strengths based on your preference and your needs. So the main thing when it comes to Gen AI is there's two things you want to think about. It's the training and the prompting. It's different from Google, where it's not a Google search where you ask a search and get a different response. You're really able to have a conversation. And if you think about it more as like training an intern, you want to train and then ask questions and as maybe the assignments to get the most specific response back to help with your content creation on social media marketing. When it comes to training, all the aspects that go into a social media marketing success with AI is really the full about your company. So when we're training our AI, our new intern of sorts, you want your company description, mission, product services, your upcoming events and campaigns, your brand voice, your target audience, and then what your goals are with social media, who your competitors are, what your goal is, the channels you're on or want to be on, your content pillars, your posting frequency, your hashtags, and then your content calendars. But it's okay if you don't have all of this stuff. AI can help you with your social media marketing strategy to build out your training documents. But the ones that are bolded here, it would be great if you started that in your own voice, because what you want to do is tell AI and train AI about your company so it's as authentic as possible and translating your vision and your branding for the company versus AI telling you more about yourself and trying to read your mind. But it's a collaborative tool. And if you don't have all of these, we'll see in a second how AI can help. Let's dive into step one of training our LLM for our social media marketing success. So for this, we're going to go to Claude. And within the window, there's options on the left-hand side. It will either look like this little icon or it will be spread out. And you want to pick projects. And then on the projects screen, there's an option where you can click new project. And that's what you want to do. And then you can name your project. I would just use your small business name and call it whatever your business name is, social media marketing. And then for the description of what you're trying to achieve, whatever is most comfortable for you, but like this is the hub of our social media marketing AI engine or whatever resonates the most with you. And then, depending on how your browser is shaped, you want to find the project knowledge area. It's either going to be at the bottom or on the right-hand side. And this is your hub of truth. Any of your finalized documents about your company or social media marketing strategy goes here. So the things that you already have ready to go, you can upload here. And that might be your about, your company description, products and services, your mission. Whatever's finalized, upload that here. And there's 2 points I want to make about this. One, any of your finalized documents, you still want to have a home either on your desktop or on Google Docs or whatever, file management system that you have. And those will be the home of your final docs and living docs that you'll update. And then once they're finalized, you want to add them to your project knowledge. And this is the hub of truth. And all of the chats and the content creation that you build on top of this will reference your project knowledge. So this is your hub of truth and that you can build on. And so as for what you have added to your project knowledge, and then for the things that you don't have and we'll be working with AI to help build out, once they're finalized, move them out of the chats into a formal document, save them on your computer or your file management system, and then upload them to the project knowledge. That's a great workflow to keep everything organized and consistent when you're working with LLMs. So step 2 is the prompt. And you want to use your LLMs for the tech space of your social media strategy and content creation, especially the text content creation. And the 4 keys to this are the seed, which is your knowledge base, which I just went over. That's your training material and the basis content. So if you have any templates for social media, YouTube videos, or blog post templates, those also want to go into your knowledge base. You can kind of think of it as your social media marketing SOP, like your hub of truth of all of the finalized things. Then you want to do examples. If you already have content examples that you've written before, this might be past social media posts. This could be past blog posts on a similar topic, past newsletters, whatever those are. I recommend uploading those for a chat dedicated to each type of content you're creating to make it more organized and easy for the LLM chat to be specific to what you're writing. And then it's the prompt itself. And these are the instructions that you give to the AI tool that combine the C, your knowledge base, with the example writings of copy to create new copy in the voice of your brand and your small business. And then the 4th key, which I mentioned before, is human in the loop. You always, always want to double check everything that comes out of the LLMs before putting them in your formal knowledge docs or before putting them on social media marketing. I see this on YouTube videos all the time where people just copy paste, slap on, and hit next. I really, really urge you to read and double check everything. You're going to get the most out of the LLMs and making sure that they best match your vision by double checking them. And again, just think of them as a very excited intern that can produce a lot of content very quickly, but you always want to double check the content that they're giving out again. So on this screen, this is kind of gives you an example of the project screen. For a small business example, we're just going to use a bakery today. And here you can see when you have the project knowledge, and I just put everything here that you want to add to your project knowledge space. And then the box is where your chats are going to happen. And you can see here that I have a chat starting for newsletter for my bakery and social media strategy for bakery. And I recommend doing a dedicated chat for each kind of channel topic that you're doing, social media posts, newsletter, blog posts. And if you have 2 newsletters, to do a dedicated thread for each one. And you're more or less using the threads as training grounds to hone in on that specific channel. And then you have your knowledge base for the overall branding guidelines as just a way to stay organized with these. So let's assume that you need some help with your social media strategy and you're not yet ready to go straight into the post because the LLM needs to understand your brand voice. So you can adapt, you can screenshot this prompt right here and you can adapt it as needed. So I'll just read this out loud. Claude, I'm creating a social media content strategy for insert your business. My brand focuses on insert core values and mission, and our goals are to list your goals. My audience includes da 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 da. Can you review my website and social media channels and suggest what our voice guide should be based on our current content? Here are our current channels, and you can list those out. So what this does, you can actually train AI in 3 ways. You can upload if you already have a voice guide. You can ask it to reference your content to suggest a voice guide. Or three, you can actually have ChatGPT prompt you and say, ask me questions what I need for the voice guide. So whichever you have or whichever is easiest. For this, I find it easy to look back at past content as a starting point if you need help with your voice guide. So I did this for our cheesecake example on bakery here in Cincinnati. And then also one thing I'll say, the more knowledge-based content you have in your project, the chats can actually just or the prompts can actually just reference those. Um, so the more that you have in your knowledge base, you can just reference those. If not, to get you out the gate started, the more that you put into the prompts also helps with the output. So then we put that in there, and within seconds, the AI magic, the results come back of a current brand voice analysis based on what it was able to look at online for the cheesecakery and when you do this exercise for your own small business. So, what you want to do is see if this matches or resonates. And the big thing, and again, this is the big difference between Google and Gen AI, is that you want to have a conversation. And it really is a chatbot, like talking and training and refining. So, if this all sounds great, you could write back, like, this is great. Let's move on to the next thing. Or if it's like, we're very bubbly and we actually don't want to hold back on exclamations. So let's add the language guidelines where we use these emojis and these exclamations. But you want to give it feedback to best match your voice or whatever it is for your social media marketing. And then once you're happy with the voice guidelines, you can ask it to format it into an official strategy, or you can copy and paste if you're happy with it to put into your official documents and Hub of Truth to train the knowledge panel. So you want to correct and continue the conversation. And really, within this chat, you can work with the LLM to build out your entire social media strategy. So, where you have holes with. So, you can ask it, can you suggest a comprehensive social media strategy? Or if you already have one, maybe you want to focus on LinkedIn or Instagram, just really talk to it for what you need and be as specific as possible. You can ask it, what do you recommend for the post frequency for each channel and what type of content format? And also, the more limitations that you give it, the more specific it will be too. So, for example, if you don't shoot a bunch of video of yourself, then you want to give it that of like only do video recommendations with AI or stock video so that it's giving results that are actually doable and actionable on your side as well. And then you can keep playing with it. Can you write July social media content calendar for me based on these recommendations? And again, the more specific you could be with your products, any sales, any promotions, any campaigns that you want to incorporate into July's content, tell the AI system that, and it will get more specific results based on your feedback. So going to the next slide, you can see here a social media strategy, and we're using, a broad example for this demo, but it has content strategy recommendations for Instagram and TikTok, for Facebook, recommended hashtags, frequency and content formats. At a high level, this looks good. But again, you want to make sure that it's doable and actionable. So if stories are 7 days daily sounds like too much, you can tweak it and give it feedback of, we want to start out with 3 to 5 posts, or that's what we've been doing and we're happy with that cadence. Let's keep that. So just give it feedback. And then once you're happy with the results, again, formalize it into your own file system and then upload it into the knowledge base as your social media marketing strategy. So that's the step one of having your strategy. And then once you have your strategy and you're happy with it, now we go into the content creation of the text, images, and video side to bring your content strategy to life. In talking with the same Claude LLM, we want to create a social media content calendar. And this was a broad ask, but can you write July's social media content calendar for me based on these recommendations? And this literally happens in seconds where Claude takes all the information you gave it and puts together an entire content calendar for you. And again, you want to be as specific as possible to get the best results out of it. The more that you put about your products and what you're looking for, the better. And just always double check it. So once you're happy with the copy, then we want to go into the image creation and the video creation if applicable. So moving on to that, for image creation, the most commercially safe options are Adobe Firefly, Getty Images, iStock by Getty, Shutterstock, and we're big fans of Canva. I would use it more for the AI editing at this point. And I guess in general, when it comes to AI images and video, right now, I would kind of think of them as an advanced or elevated stock image and stock video. Instead of searching for the best stock image or stock video, you now can prompt and create those. But you're where it's at right now, you don't really want to look to AI video or images for like web commercials or anything too advanced. You still want to lean on your traditional graphic designers and whatnot. But for kind of elevating, if you can't afford a graphic designer and don't have time to search for stock images, AI is really great for that. And we're going to use for today's example Firefly, which you can find at firefly.adobe.com. There's a lot of different ways that you can get started with Gen AI images. For today's presentation, we're just going to focus on text to image. But as you'll see, they have some tools coming out soon, and all of these over time will just improve as well. So with the images, it's very similar to Claude and the text to text LLMs, where the more specific you are in the prompt, the better the results that you're going to get out of it. Same with your social media strategy and content. And like, for example, like if you were to, not that anyone really goes to travel agents these days, but if you were to go to a travel agent and the travel agent says, "Where do you want to go?" And you just reply, "On vacation." That is so broad and doesn't narrow it down at all. But the more specific you are of, I need a family-friendly golf, beach, spa, da, 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 within 5 hours of where I live by car or flights more affordable, then there's a lot of information that that travel agent can do to give you the most specific, best matched vacation. Prompts work the same way. The more specific you are, the better. So using text to image, you just want to select the image option and then put in your prompt. This is a broad one, but again, the more specific you are, the better. So I put in here, create a cupcake for a 4th of July ad for a bakery. And the first line is what generated, which is pretty good. You know, it's photorealistic cupcakes. And then when you open that, a new screen opens with more options to kind of play and refine if you would like. And just to give you a demo, you can do style references. So if you have a branding or old ad campaign that you want to reference as a style reference, you can add that or pick from some of their pre-selected ones, which I did, where you can kind of see more of a graphical pink representation of the cupcake. So there's a lot of different ways that you can play and have fun. But the more specific you are, the better. And then if you think about it as prompting and just more of like an elevated stock photo experience, I think is a good starting point for now. And for the next slide on AI editing, you could actually do this within Adobe Express as well. But Canva also offers it. And for all of these tools, there's free versions that offer some functionality, and of course, paid versions that unlock more. But when it comes to editing, I think one tool that I probably use the most is the remove background feature. So whether that's in Adobe Express or Canva, here's an example of how quick AI can just like save you some time for some editing. So here's an image I took from the Cheesecakery's Facebook page. I know the owner, we're friends, and dropped it into Canva. And there's a button right here that says background remover. Click that, and literally within seconds, the background is removed. And both Adobe Express and Canva have tons of templates that you can customize and/or kind of create your own brand kits and your own custom templates based on that. But for a quick example, you can take your cutout image, put it into a template, add a logo, and update the copy, and very quickly have a very custom social media image ready for you to go to be paired with your copy that you created from the LLM. So, when it comes to video generation, the most commercially safe are Adobe Firefly, Google VO3 just recently launched and it's being billed as ethically trained. But again, take all of that with a grain of salt when it comes to AI. And Opus Clip, which you'll see in a second, is great for taking long form video and chopping it into short form very quickly with the magic of AI. And when it comes to the AI avatar tools, all of the big players are all commercially safe, but there's a lot of AI avatar tools popping up left and right. So again, you just want to be mindful when it comes to which tools that you're using and for what purpose that you're using them for. And then when it comes to the AI video creation, we're using Adobe Firefly again as an example. There's a lot of different ways and more coming. They're actually getting into the avatar space too, which is exciting. But for today's presentation, we're going to focus again on text to video. But there's definitely a lot more tools that you can play with and go down rabbit holes if you want to play with the image to video and translating the video as well. And very, very similarly, again, to the text to text and text to image, it all comes down to the prompt. And the more specific you can be, the better output that you're going to get to match your vision. So, this one, keep it high level. And just as a demo, I used the same prompt more or less for the still image, create a cupcake for a 4th of July ad for a bakery. And this is what came out. Of course, you can give it more style features or camera motions. You can actually go to Claude and say, like, help me with a prompt to get a dynamic video. So the AI tools can help you with the prompts for images and video too. But for today's demo, you can see that it came out and play. Right now, the videos are only 5 seconds long. So again, you don't want to look to these to do like web commercials that would be downloading and stitching together a bazillion 5 second clips. But if you think of it more as elevated, like stock B roll footage to put into social media posts, it's a great use case for that. And moving on to another video tool that I really like is Opus Clip. And it makes taking long form video and turning it into short form reels so easy. So, as an example, the Cheesecakery, there's a video of a press event that Liz, the owner, did locally here in Cincinnati. I didn't even need the video file. I just grabbed the Facebook link, put it into Opus Clip, and then clicked the Get Clips in one click. And then you'll see really in a few minutes, it takes the long form video and turns it into a bunch of short reels. And it actually kind of ranks how the projected performance. So you can go through and look at those. You can edit them if there's any editing that can be done and then download and then upload them to your social media platform for distribution. And here you can see a quick little clip. This is of 30 seconds, but you can just get a vibe for it for the first 5 seconds or so. So any long form content, whether it's an avatar, you press, any type of video, this really makes real content super easy using the magic of AI. And speaking of avatars, this is another topic that can help with your AI video creation and make videos creation so much easier. And in general, we all have some form of avatar, whether it's a gaming one or in the social networking platforms that we use. And the hyperrealistic avatars are just a natural extension of these online identities. Now, when it comes to your small business, people always love to connect with other people. So these hyperrealistic avatars are great to kind of be a digital extension of yourself. But if you have a small business that has a mascot and a more cartoony character, you can use that too for these purposes. So whatever you're most comfortable with. But I will say for anyone who might be shy to be in front of the camera, cloning yourself and letting your clone do most of the camera work for you makes life a whole lot easier. So, for AI avatars, the easiest one to get up and running and the most cost effective is HeyGen. They also have amazing fidelity. I mean, the avatar that I created for this and since really just takes a couple minutes and a smartphone to be able to get the footage, and it's really high fidelity. And the tech just continues to improve, which is amazing. So, if you go to HeyGen, It will walk you through the steps to create an account, and you can do a lot for free too without having to get a paid plan. You want to select hyper realistic avatar, go through the steps. It's literally 2 or 3 minutes of you talking in front of the camera, uploading that footage, going through a little video recording saying, I consent to Hey Jen create an AI avatar for me. And that's a security layer because we want to make sure to keep our identity and digital likeness safe. And then in a few minutes, it will take your footage and create a hyper realistic clone for you. And then once you have that, you can go into the player or into the HeyGen platform and select your clone and create a video. And here's just a little screenshot of that. When you click your avatar, you want to click your script, and you can put in anything there. And this type of avatar, you punch in your script and hit preview or create the video, and it will create the video. So it's literally taking a script and then creating a video with a AI avatar in minutes. And if you need help with the script, you can go back to Claude, or you can use the AI writing tool even within HeyGen to help you with the script writing if you're not sure what to say. So when we were saying AI or Gen AI can be a brainstorming tool, that's what I mean too. So if you don't know where to get started for any of these, AI can always help with brainstorming and help solve that blank page issue. So here you go. So we created the avatar quickly, put in a script, and this was a quick little demo that you could see of an avatar of me talking. So this is a great way to get started with AI video to create video very easily, depending on what you need. Okay, so that actually brings us through today where we went over how to use Gen AI for your social media strategy and then your content creation and some tools and tricks to use AI and Gen AI specifically for your text, images, and video. Once you have all of this ready, then you're ready for the publishing, the response to the community, and then looking at your analytics to see what's working and what to optimize. But AI is a great tool to help with your social media marketing strategy and do a lot of the heavy lifting when it comes to your content strategy so you can focus on running your small business and growing your small business. So thank you so much for all of your time today.